What's up, everybody? This is Mr. Straight Facts Show. I am Mr. Straight Facts. Let's get into the topics of today. All right. I don't know about you if you got a chance to see the Charlamagne the God interview with Lara Trump. I got some things to say about it, and we're actually going to get to watch some of it and kind of like go over some things. One thing I do not like in any interview is the disingenuousness, basically the lies, the like you're trying to do something, but you're not really. You're trying to come off as if you're trying to be fair, but in all honesty, you're being jaded. That I can't stand. Like again, like I said, when you lie, and I think of this toward me and anybody else, when you lie to me and put it my way, I think you're doing an egregious act to me. I don't think it's just a willy-nilly thing. To me, as if you shot me, because you literally look at me and say I don't have any respect for me, or you look at me and say I don't have any respect for Mr. Straight Facts. I'm gonna lie to him. What's the purpose of lying to somebody who can accept your truth? A person who asks you, "Hey, look, tell me the truth. I don't care how much it hurts. I'll deal with it. I'm a grown man. I'm a big boy. I can handle it." That's the type of stuff that I want. If I'm gonna give it, then I expect to receive it. So when people lie to me, I can't stand it. At that point, you did an egregious act to me. You don't need to lie to me because I'm willing to accept any truth, whether it hurts or feels good or just enlightening. I don't care. I'd rather have the truth so that we're on a foundation of facts. If you got to lie to me, then disappear. There's no reason. Because again, when you lie to somebody, you're purposely trying to hurt them and help yourself. Even if you're telling them something, that makes them feel good about themselves and you know it's a lie, you need to tell them what's really good about them so that they can feel good about it and wake up the next day and feel that same goodness, instead of telling them a lie and they sitting here in a bubble trying to figure out what are you seeing, because I don't see it, because it's not there. That's why you don't see it. Tell the truth. And therefore people can work on the foundation of getting better in their lives. You can't get better on a foundation of lies. You just sink. And that's what I don't like about it. That's why we're going to go over this interview. Hey, Vera, hey, is it Kidney and Sweet Pea and Azure? This is why I do this, is because I want the truth out. And I'll tell it the way I see it based upon the facts. And that's it. Now, you're going to get me again. If I'm going to give you my opinion, of course, I'm going to tell you this is my opinion from these facts. I don't make opinions off of lies. What's the purpose? It defeats the purpose. I'm talking for no reason at all. If I'm talking to you about a lie and I'm all in a deep conversation, why the hell am I talking to you? And why would you listen to somebody just sitting there on a lie like Donald Trump? Why do these people even give an opportunity to listen to this dude? And I'm talking the government. If this dude, they know he lies. It makes no sense. So there's always like an ulterior motive for Republicans to listen to a hateful person like him. There's other motives. They'll say, oh, it's best interest. No, it's not for your best interest. Because if you knew it's for your best interest, you know damn well most of the time, 99.9% of the time, Republicans are never for the people's best interest, ever. We're going to talk about that in a hot second too, but let's deal with this. Hey, DJ, how you doing? In the Sons of Stream. Oh, thank you, Azure. Thank you for letting me know Tim did that. I appreciate it. Tell Tim I said thank you. So we're going to go over this Charlamagne the God interview because I really want to cover some things that bring some things to light. Some shaded truths, some absolute lies, lies for no reason. Y'all ever understand how somebody wants to lie for no reason? When you could tell the truth and it gives you the same type of meaning, they lie regardless. And we're going to show you that here in a second. Just to lie for something so menial. It's crazy. But let's get it. Let's get it.
I give you a lot of credit because you have had me on your show. You have people with differing viewpoints on a lot of different things on your show. And Charlamagne, I think we need more of that.
Absolutely.
You know, you look though at things like, take a look at these numbers. This is The View. The View had since January, from January until June.
Let's stop this right now. Stop it right now. This is the part where I say, why lie? Why lie when the truth could be just as bad? Right? She's saying through January, from January of this year to July of this year. Now, The View is on hiatus right now. They don't come back until September. So she knows they can't respond, for one, because they're not even on air. So when they say later on, not necessarily in this interview, I think it's later, they say like, The View hasn't said anything about this. The producers haven't said anything about this. Well, they're on hiatus. So they did this right when they went on hiatus, and they're not coming back to just talk to her about some stupid little thing that came up from this resource, this media research company, right? Why fight something that doesn't, not necessarily if it's true or not true. Why fight it when you're on break? And that's why they did this. But the second part, the major part, is the lie. They said 102 left-leaning guests and 0 conservatives have been on The View. You know the conservative that I actually got to see on The View in mid-June? Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, I only seen one Republican since January to July that I seen. I didn't go back and do any full research. But that should be 102 to 1. Right? 102 to 1 is still bad, if you would think, if you have, no situation where you're not giving one side any kind of time whatsoever, right? That would seem bad. So why lie? Why lie 102 to 0? Because it looks better. When you see somebody promote something that says 102 to 0, it seems like they have nobody coming on, but they had Arnold Schwarzenegger come on. And then when you go and look at the article and try and read while they put this out there, in their article, they mention, Arnold Schwarzenegger was on, but he's not really a conservative. That's BS. I'm in California. Arnold Schwarzenegger is more of a conservative than they ever were. I can vouch for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Once he got in, he actually started cutting back on things that we necessarily, like in government processes, he started cutting back on things that we didn't need. Honest to goodness, we didn't need. Give you insight. I used to belong to a group called the New Leaders. This was a black group that was started many, many years ago. If you know John Bryant, he was the leader of it. John Bryant, he's a rich guy now. Then he was starting a bunch of small banks or something like that, community banks he was starting at that time. Wasn't necessarily like the rich dude he is now, well known. But John Bryant was a dude. I knew him when we were younger. And in that group, we had Governor Gray Davis come, and he was talking about programs that we can all get into. Black people can get into them because they were openings that mostly white people were taking, and they were giving opportunities to black groups, and we was a part of this New Leader group. So they came and they gave us like a pamphlet, a booklet, whatever, all these government jobs that you could have, And so I'm looking through them. There was a job for $95,000 a year. This is a part-time gig, y'all, in California. $95,000 a year. You know how many times you had to work to get that 95 grand a year in Cali, in the government at the time when Gray Davis was governor? He was a Democrat, and they'd been doing it for years under Republicans too. 95,000, I would only have to meet 4 times a year. 4 times a year. And all I have to do is go and tell them where I think these bus benches should be. Should we take them up on this street, and should we put them on different streets? We're going to have brand new ones. We're going to get rid of old ones. Where do we need to redistrict these bus stops? We'd come in and had to sit in there for at least an hour, 4 hours of work a year, and I got paid like $95,000. Now, I didn't take this job because I had morals. I'm like, yo, you guys are getting way too much money to do something so small. That's government waste, right? But people were taking them left and right, jobs like this, menial jobs, getting paid 100 grand, 50 grand, 75 grand. I mean, and working for an hour, 2 hours a year. Sometimes they met twice a year. One was 125,000. They met twice a year for, I think, 4 hours. So 8 hour day, 125. That's what the government was doing here in California. You don't need that much money to do that little. When we got men, women, and children paying some children, I guess, young kids paying taxes, and they don't make that much in 5 years and working their asses off. No. So Arnold Schwarzenegger is a conservative, and he did cutbacks without having to fire a lot of people. Those were temporary gigs where people already had full-time jobs. They were just coming in working 4 days a year. So I can't say everything he did I loved, but I can say he did that. And I can say that's truly a conservative thing, cutting back. And we still had a great economy at the time. Governor Gray Davis did his thing. Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger came and did his. Long story, shorter, I guess, maybe even longer, is her not thinking and them not thinking that Arnold Schwarzenegger is not a conservative because they said he voted for Kamala. So he didn't want a narcissist or another narcissist, because he has narcissistic characteristics, but he didn't want that person in office, and he knew how that person could destroy democracy. So I consider anybody who is loyal to their party and decided that I have to vote against it a real patriot to the country. Because if I saw a Democrat trying to go toward killing democracy, oh, you best believe I'm voting against that shit. I'm voting against it. I have to. Yeah. And Zora, I agree with you. I don't think there's anything inherently bad about conservatives. But again, I don't. The thing about America, and let's go ahead and get out of this interview real quick. Let me just take some time here. The thing about America, it's going to start back over. I don't know why I did that. But is that when we say conservative generically, we're not really talking about conservative values. We're talking about a team, a party that is a team, a conservative team. There's nothing about them that's conservative. That's my point. When you talk about conservative, what do you think, right? Most people think, when you think about conservative, especially when you think about fiscally conservative, means you're going to spend the money only when you need to, save money, pay off your bills. Don't create something that you can't pay for. You would think that's conservative, right? Republicans have never done that. They say it, they've never done it. Never. I ain't say it every once in a while. Never. When we got a surplus and we could pay off our debts, no. Instead of doing that, they give it to everybody and they think they're going to make the economy boom, but it never happens. 50 years of research has shown trickle-down economics has never worked. Not a little bit, ever worked. Never worked. So it's not conservative. It's a conservative label, but not the true meaning of conservative. That's why it boggles the mind. Over the years, I'm 54 years old. Since I've started voting, I've asked my friends, Democrat and Republican, why do they love their party? What is their values? And every time I talked to Democrats, it was always about caring shit. They were always, we care about the poor. We care about this. We care about women. We want women to have their rights. We want everybody to be able to vote. We love people. Love, love, love. Kumbaya. Every time I've asked a Democrat, every time I asked Republicans before Donald Trump even, it was always about some staunch rule, can't change, things have to remain the same, money, 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 power grab, taxes, pay less, smaller government, less regulations, and all of those things say, fuck the regular people. I only want people who have money to be able to have any kind of say-so in the country. That's what conservatism has always been. It has never been about people. Go back and look at it. When have they ever cared about the average Joe? Never. They promote that shit, but when you look at the bills and the laws they pass, none of them have been designed to help the poor. They have always tried to kill programs that help the poor. When health care was given to all Americans basically through the ACA, they've been trying to destroy it forever. They created a culture war around giving everybody health care. It's us versus them. And I'm like, who is the them that don't want health care? Well, they throw up other things to make you not want health care. The recent thing that a lot of these people like on earth is the racism of it all. There were a lot of white people that believed Obamacare and the ACA were two separate things. And not just one, but many of them asked the question, would they want to get rid of ACA? They said, no, my family's on it. We're doing great. What about Obamacare? Get rid of that. We don't want that at all. Like, wait a minute. You want to get rid of Obamacare? Yep. Don't want it. Don't like it. Can't stand it. But you want to keep ACA? Yeah, it's been helping my family. You know they're the same thing. Why would they say it's the same thing? Why the Democrats will have us all confused? You dipshit. That's the Republicans that's got you all confused. The fact that you don't know that your own party sold you racism wrapped in a fucking bow, and you sat there and said, love it, tastes good. And then when they tell you, let's get rid of that Negro shit. Oh, okay, cool, we get rid of it. We're going to get rid of that. Okay, great. What about the ACA? You going to keep that, right? No, that's it, fool. So racism has them thinking, get rid of something that they don't even realize it was because of black man they got the ACA. That's how confused this country is to recognize just real shit. That's why I am more of a Democrat, more of toward the liberal phase. Because why? Because I care about people and I think about solutions that help all people. I don't divide myself amongst, well, I want to help that culture and I want to help that culture and I want to help that. No, all of us can be helped. We all want good things for our families. We want good health and live as long as possible. At least most of us. We all want to retire and have something there instead of going broke. We all want to have more in our savings than in our debt column, right? So why aren't we creating things that help everybody get to that phase? As long as you're working to do something and working towards something, you should be able to have that opportunity. But most of us don't even realize it's not the black people or the Latin people or the Asian people or the white women or whatever that's holding us back. It is racist, rich white men that are holding us back. The reason why you're not getting paid a living wage is not because of Latin people who are working on a farm or black people who are getting paid less than their white counterparts or white women getting paid less than their white male counterparts. They aren't the reason why you're not getting paid what you're fucking owed. It is rich white men that are saying to you, you're not worthy of it. But they don't say it out loud. They just say, well, we're giving you fair wages. We're paying you more than them. But always got us fighting each other to get shit just a little bit more. And once you get that little bit more, you're welcome and happy to join into that white racist male billionaire club that one day you might be able to get into, knowing damn well they ain't gonna never let you get in because it takes them to invest in you to get there. So they sell you a bunch of dreams on what you could possibly have, never give it to you, and have you pissed off at people who are rising above you because they're going different routes than what you're going. They're going out there selling products. They're going out there getting on different social media programs trying to sell, and they're rising above you. And you don't understand why. Why? Because the traditional way of working, rich people, mostly rich white men, are taking those profits away. They're realizing they got a group of young people they can pay less and kick anybody who's 30 or 40 out. They used to be able to value hard work. Now they do not. And for decades they have not. It used to be quantity over quality. Now it's just quality, fuck the quality. Now it's just quantity, fuck the quality. It's been going that way for well over 2 or 3 decades. If you don't believe me, ask people whose pension ended, if you was ever in a union. Stop giving people pensions about 20-something years ago. In many particular positions. I don't know, some unions may still have it, but for the most part, unions I know in LA, gone. They having people take pay cuts instead of firing you. So you back to where you were when you first started the job, or at least 10 years in, when you should be at a 30-year actual amount of money that you should be making. They don't cut you down to the knees. And who do these people often have you blaming? Oh, well, I could give you more money, but it's the Latin person over there that I had to hire. Be pissed off at them. And too many workers play the dipshit and be like, I want to curry favor with the rich guy, so I'll go over and hate on the Latin guy and hate on this person and hate on the white woman. Because why? Because they're getting more than me, and they would give me more if those people weren't here. So you don't realize that your boss just bought a yacht that could pay for all of y'all, and you don't care about that. Just bought a toy that he's only going to be on like once a year. And you care less about that. You're looking over a person over here, Juan or Jerome, who barely been getting enough to feed their families. And you think about them in a horrible way. And you think about this rich person who don't give 2 shits of whether you live or die, will cut the health care out from under you if you catch cancer so they don't have to pay for it. But that's the person that you're on their side. You're not fighting along these people to get these people to do right by us, American citizens. See, that's what they don't want. They don't want the poor white man and the poor white woman and Latin and black and Asian, all of us. They don't want us unifying because there's way more, by the tens of millions more of us than there are of them. And if we can get it through our thick skulls, we know we can't get to the racists. They stuck on racism. But for those of us who say we aren't racist, and for those who said they aren't bigoted, those who say they care about all people, if those people, we're looking at 340 million people in the country, I would say a good 200 and maybe, 30 are not that way. How can 230 million people come together and say, you know what, fuck this billionaire class shit? They've been stepping on our necks for years. Let us figure it out. Let's stop buying their shit. Buy it from somewhere else. If you could unify around that, you could change the dynamics of this country the way the people want it. Then it would really become we the people instead of we the rich people. But that takes us coming together and saying, hey, I'm sick of this shit the way it is. Let's change it. Now, this is probably going to start back over and see if I can get it back to start with Lara. I'm going to try to fast forward it.
I give you a lot of credit because you have had me on your show. You have people with differing viewpoints on a lot of different things on your show. And Charlamagne, I think we need more of that.
Absolutely.
You know, you look though at things like, take a look at these numbers. This is The View. The View had since January, from January until June or July, look at that, 0 conservatives and 102 left-leaning guests. And then listen to,
is that real?
How important do you think it is to have different viewpoints and allow people, I mean, you're here on my show, I appreciate that, and vice versa, you had me on yours. This is important.
I think it's very important because I think a lot of times people talk about folks they never talk to.
Yeah.
And if you think that a person is spreading misinformation, if you think that a person is lying, then, bring them on your platform and have that conversation. Like, present the facts, present the truth, and then let the people decide. I think that's ridiculous to never, ever have anybody on your show that you don't agree with or has an opposing view of you or is from a different political party. Because at the end of the day, man, regardless of who's in the White House, that person represents all of America.
Amen.
She said amen at the end of the day. all those people represent Americans, and yet her father is father-in-law is Donald Trump. I mean, they act like they're not a part of the Trump family. They're not a part of the MAGA like minions. She sounds like she's kind of level-headed. No, everything she's saying is facetious. She's literally saying, she's putting it on everybody else. Like, Democrats should be this way, right? You think people should be this way, right? I'm like, but you're not. So how are you sounding like, and this is what I'm talking about. You really have to be a demon to know that you are a part of the problem, but go around acting like other people are. And speaking like other people should be more like me. Like you? What do you mean like you? More open-minded. I had you on my show and you had me on your show. I didn't get to see her interview with the Charlamagne, the God, and the Breakfast Club, but I've seen many of Republicans come on to the Breakfast Club, right? And I've had my few words to say about that. I got videos on TikTok, on YouTube about it. They never ask really good questions. This being the Breakfast Club, they come at it in a research view. They just come on and be like, oh, I just heard you know this, that, and the other. Your father did this and that, and you sitting there like, dude, that's not factual. Could you find a fact? Can you look it up real quick? And they'll continue in a conversation with these people, giving them a platform, letting them say. Remember, Candace Owens was on there spewing some of the most ridiculous numbers, and these fools was like, really? I don't know about that, but I'll take your word for it. No, don't. Look it up. How are you so intellectually lazy? You literally got a computer right the fuck in front of you. And while she's talking, you could be looking up these stats. Now, I think one time they did, but not for the entire show. And I'm like, dude, you can't just have your viewers be fooled with a bunch of lies. Here's my thing. If you give me the respect of lending me your ear, I'm going to tell you facts. And if they aren't factual, I'm going to blow that shit up. I ain't going to let that shit get into your earways without me saying something about it. And if somebody ever came onto my show and I said, wait a minute, I don't believe that's true, we stopping the show. We ain't getting no flow on about no other bullshit after bullshit after bullshit. I'm like, fact check that shit real quick. Then we're going to have that conversation like, why'd you choose to come onto the show and lie? Why would you do that? I thought you liked your constituent or loved your constituents. Do you lie to your family members on a regular basis? Do you want your doctor to tell you got cancer when you don't have it? No, then why would you tell people that they got issues they don't have, or you're trying to solve a problem that you really don't give a fuck about? Why? Because that tells me you don't care about your constituents. You really care about yourself getting elected or getting more people to like you instead of actually telling the truth. If I tell you the truth and you don't like me, fuck you. Leave. I'm not here to swallow you or, rock you to sleep. I'm here to tell you the truth. And if you're going to lie to me, of course, you're going to get the angry Mr. Straight Facts, 100%. I'm not going to sit here and be cordial. I don't want you lie to my face, I'm going in on you. There is no like, maybe not, could be. No, I'm going in, I'm going off. Now, you took the time to lie, I'm going to take the time to talk shit about you for the next 30 minutes. There's no reason to lie. Again, we grown people. Should be able to handle responsibility by now. Take accountability for your actions. Simple as that. That's the way I look at it. It's just insane to me to see these people just lie for no reason. But in this situation, it irks me because, for one, there's like Charlamagne the God, I have my qualms with him, but I'm willing to listen to somebody who may have their own viewpoint about certain things, may not necessarily be based in facts, but you can have your viewpoint about something. But I'm gonna tell you what's not factual. And like with him, he's taking this interview with her kind of like she's like coming at him in a fair way, but she's not. She's really trying to sucker him into liking something Republican. What do you like about Republicans? Would you vote for a Republican? That's what she's there for. She's not there to get anything else out of him but to First thing she did, went in on liberals or The View, headhunting on The View. And what kills me about that is The View has a Republican, Alyssa, I believe. There was a MAGA person that still speaks some MAGA. She can speak it, but she doesn't necessarily go all in, and she calls out MAGA. But she's still MAGA, right? Ex-MAGA, whatever it is. She was in that party for 4 years or whatever, right? And then you got Whoopi, who's a centrist. You can see some of the stuff she says is conservative. Some things she says is liberal. Some things is in the middle. Some things she just don't give a damn about. So she covers the gamut, right? Then you got the woman who sits next to her. I don't remember who that is. I forgot her name. The blonde lady. She is more of a conservative, right? So you got two conservatives. One not as far conservative as the MAGA lady, Alyssa, was, right? And then you got another person that's in the middle. I forgot that I think it's Joy, who's a comedian. She is a liberal, or at least a Democrat. I went so far ago as say liberal in certain aspects. And then you got Sunny, and she goes with the law, okay? So she has some conservative values, being a lawyer, and being tried cases and things like that. But then she has her liberal views in politics and also some conservative. That's a gamut. This chick by herself, a MAGA person talking to everybody. How do you go talk about The View when all you got is you, a MAGA nut, talking to other people? And you know what's so killer about this? That just this gets me like up in arms. Look, I'm gonna tell you who I am straightforward. Ask me the question, I gave you the answer. All right? Whether you like it or not, that's on you. But I'll tell you the truth. This lady right here is out here talking about The View, not one. What she say? 102 to 0, when there's really one that I know of for a fact that popped in my head. You know how many Democrats she had on her show? 0. She's been on since February. She's talking about them from January to July. She's been on since February until July. She's had one Democrat. And she act like she has a 50-50 show or some shit. Oh, we need to hear more voices. Then why is it that all of your people have been MAGA nuts and she don't know what he is? He's more like an independent, so he's not a Democrat. So I didn't count him as a Democrat. And then she had on Mayor Adams, who was a Democrat, but sold Democrats out so he wouldn't go to jail. So he's like Donald Trump's lapdog. So you want to call that the dude that turned on Democrats after he got a get out of jail free card and got visited by one of Donald Trump's goons, then he gets let go? That dude is in the pocket of Republicans 100%. So you want to tell me he got on your show and Charlamagne got on your show. Charlamagne's independent. He's a Democrat sellout. And you want to act like your show had a bunch of people on it. And look, we need to have more. Well, why don't you start with yourself, Lord Trump? Why don't you have more Democrats that can actually fight your intellectual or your lack of intellect? Why don't you do that? Why don't you bring on somebody? Bring on Gavin Newsom. You know you won't bring him on because he'll wear your intellectually stupid ass out. That's why you won't have him on. You wouldn't have enough facts to be able to come up. If you could see this interview, it was like 8 minutes. She really only asked a few questions. Not that she doesn't know how to interview. I can't say that. That's all. That's each person's own opinion. But my opinion of this is, it's trash. She didn't bring this guy on to listen to his views. She brought him on to try and get him to say what she wanted him to say. And when he didn't say it, this interview was pretty much over. We'll continue it. You'll see. I didn't do all of it. I got about a total like 4 minutes. We got 3 more minutes left in this.
And I reserve the right to criticize both parties.
Well, and I would say that person is a representative of America, and we should all want that person to succeed for America, right? No matter your political viewpoints, right?
Wait a minute. Did this trick just say that we should want Donald Trump to succeed no matter what because he's representing America, yet Her and her entire family, while Joe Biden was president, called him everything under the book and wanted him to fail. These people think their constituents are beyond stupid. Beyond stupid. There is no way on earth this one. See, this is what I understand. How can you be a person that on purpose says shit that you know is a lie, that you don't do it, but you're expecting other people to do it? It gives you that, like, you know, the law for thee, but not for me type of mentality. Follow the law. You need to follow the law. Oh, I can break them. The law don't pertain to me. So she wants you to be the Democrats. You got to be inclusive. No, not me. I'm exclusive. It's just Trump, MAGA. No, we ain't gotta listen to y'all. But you should listen to us. You should understand that's what she's doing. And the thing that I'll get with Charlamagne the God, again, I wish this was with Mehdi Hassan. I wish he was in this interview. Because no disrespect, Charlamagne is worthless when it comes to this. Because he sits there and he just allows them to use him. He is just like a spool of blackness sitting there. That's it. She got a black interviewee. Right? And the last one she had was Mayor Adams. So 2 black people, one that doesn't fight back, and the other one who's sold out. What next? Tim Scott? Bubba Gums? Bubba, baby. That dude's going to be on there next if he hasn't been on there already. It bugs me, yo. People, I mean, why don't you just say that you are a Republican and you're going to have Republicans on? They try to promote this, that they're going to bring on Democrats, and haven't brought on one yet that would oppose anything they have to say. All while telling The View, look, you only had 102 and you had 0 when they had 1. Then at the same time, I mean, how can the pot be calling the kettle black? You doing the same thing, Laura. They had 102 guests. How many have you had since February? And how many of them have been Democrats? They have no shame, man. I don't understand people like this. Why did God create people like this? I don't get it. Just be fair. These people have to cheat to win. That's it. 100% cheat. Lie, cheat, steal. That's what it stands for them. MAGA is just lie, cheat, steal. And I'm almost positive it's the same thing with just being a Republican, because that conservative crap they've been trying to sell for I don't know how long has always been crap. If you go look up the history, you'll find out they have never been conservative. When you look up the term of conservatism, fiscally conservative, never been. Conservative, you allowed priests to rape children and excuse it, and went back to the same church after you saw it happen. How the hell is that conservative? You're the party right now that's allowing Ghislaine or Ghislaine, whatever her fucking name is, Maxwell, to go to Club Fed when she's not allowed to go there because she assaulted children. A pedophile can't go to Club Fed, but you bypass the laws, signed it clear so she could go, and here she is in a minimum security. And heaven forbid any one of those women bring their daughters around her. I don't get how these people consider themselves conservative. Go look up the term, the definition of the conservatism, and look up what fiscally conservative is. You'll notice it never has, and I'm pretty sure it never will be, characteristics of a Republican. Just never has been that way. And I'll give you what Republicans kind of really stand for. Republicans stand for accountability to the rich only. Fuck everybody else. Everybody else is just a tool for them to stay rich. And they use propaganda, lies, deceit, so they can continue to make more money while telling the middle class they're going to help them out and never do it. And one day, I hope and pray, these people will recognize that it has been 50 years they've been asking, and more than that, more honestly, but it's been 50 years of this study. They've been promised shit by Republicans that has never came to fruition. How long does it take for you to recognize it ain't coming? How slow do you got to be to know that trickle-down economics has never worked and you keep on fighting for it? It's scary how people can be this non-intelligent. It's scary. You don't have to be bright. You don't have to be a genius to recognize what's right for you and your family. If you aren't getting paid well, if you haven't gotten a raise in many years, while your CEO has gotten, these balloon payments of $13 million, and they can't give you a $20, $500 raise in like 10, 12 years, and they get one every year. Hell, some of them get a raise every fucking quarter while telling you they can't give you jack. Wake up.
100% agree. Like when you ask me, what do I think President Trump has done over the last 6 months? I don't want to say that I think he did a terrible job, but if he's doing a terrible job, I got to call it like it is. And if it was a Democrat,
I will respectfully disagree with you on that.
I understand,
but that's okay. You can have your viewpoint.
But if it was I gave President Biden the same hell too, because I didn't think he was doing a good job. All we want is somebody in those positions that's going to do a good job. I'm not a party person in no way, shape, or form. I want to say I'm an independent, but that don't make no sense because there's only two parties in this country, right? So you're going to end up voting for one of them.
Yeah.
I agree with that. That's what me and Charlamagne agree with right there. I got another one I agree with. I don't think I got it on here, but this one right here, I agree with. I mean, I am a person who deals with like policies. And I'm going to tell you, Democrats are the only ones who have ever come out with policies for the people. When I say for the people, I'm talking about for the majority of the people, right? Republicans come out with what policy? They had every chance in the world to come out with health care. They chose not to do it. And once you got it, they didn't choose to increase it and make it better so that Americans can get on it. More Americans can get on it. They try to destroy it so you couldn't have it anymore. Why would they want to get rid of the ACA? It's helped so many white people and people of color and everybody, but for them, they only care mostly about the white. If you don't believe me, go to their, the Republican National Convention. In a sea of white people, you can tell whom they represent by who shows up. You watch the Democrat, it's like the colors of Benetton in that bitch. Everybody and their mama there. It is like the world picnic. Everybody's invited. You go to a Republican National Convention, black people in one little section. White people galore. Why is that? Because whom they represent or fool that they're going to represent is who they have in their audience. There's a reason why celebrities and people who are of prominence don't want to be associated with the Republican Party, don't want to perform at the Republican Party. That's why they have celebrities who are trash at these Republican conventions. Why? Because they don't do shit for the people. Think about it. If these rich people that are Democrats, whereas what Republicans do benefit these rich people more than they do us. Think about it for a second. When you're looking at like the Oprahs, billionaire, what Donald Trump is doing is making this woman richer than shit. Now, why wouldn't she just vote, Republican? Because it's benefiting her. Why? Because she gives a fuck about us. When you look at the majority of celebrities that are supporting the Democrat Party, why do you think they do it? They got money. They ain't got to bring up their voice. They're not being affected like us. Why are they saying something? Because they remember where the fuck they came from. They realize they used to be poor, and if they didn't have a singing talent, a football talent, a basketball talent, a dancing or whatever, they would be right where we are. Well, you got old money there too, but you don't even see them do anything. Old money on both sides, you don't see them do jack. You don't even know they exist. You barely even know their names. But the Republicans, you know, they have some celebrities, and almost all of them racist as fuck. Sexist as fuck, xenophobic as fuck. They went out and shot Budweiser beer cans all up. For what? Because a gay guy got a deal, a sponsorship representing Budweiser or Bud Light? I'm like, what? Why are you having a problem with this? Do you think sucking on a beer, you're sucking on something else? I mean, it's just nonsensical, y'all. Why would you be with a party that's just filled with hate and racism? They never offer anything. I would love for somebody to tell me, what do Republicans offer the people? I tried to look it up. In the past 20 years, they have not created one bill to help the American people. Not one. They've always put out restrictions. They help the middle class get some money back. They don't help the poor whatsoever. And they help the rich stay richer. Now, you know you got some Democrat people that do the exact same shit. Stay richer for the rich people. But they're the only party that literally comes up with bills to help poor people, middle class people. And even if they don't really give a damn when they get to their homes, I don't know that. I don't know them personally. But they're the only ones fighting for the people in the House and Senate. They're the only ones fighting to give money back to the people that are not millionaires and billionaires. While they're still loyal to their billionaires and millionaires, don't get me wrong, they at least write bills. Not just co-sign, because Republicans have co-signed on some shit, but they didn't write any. So how is a party for you that hasn't wrote a bill in 20 years to help the average American people? Black, white, Latin, Asian, I don't care what race you are. American people who aren't millionaires and billionaires. The Republican Party in the past 20 years have not came up with a bill or signed a bill that helps you personally. They give you tax cuts, which give you a few dollars in your pocket, which keeps you happy. And everything else, you get Nathan. And if you don't understand that language, it means nothing. Go look it up. Don't listen to me. Go look it up. When's the last time they created a bill to give you, the people, a break on anything? So when Donald Trump promised these people, oh, I'm going to cut this and I'm going to cut that and get the prices down, Republicans have not brought the prices down. Just look at history, but they know their people remain and love being in that area. They live in Stupidville. It can't help but stay there. And partially because in our world, Democrats and Republicans, but mostly Republicans, have done everything they could to keep the population stupid. Trying to get rid of the Department of Education, that right there tells you they don't want brainiacs. They want people to just fall in line. And far too many times, people who are Republicans, claim to be Republicans, they fall in line. They never fall in love with something. They always fall in line. If they tell them to jump, Republicans jump. How high is the question? Democrats are the brainier ones. They're ones like, why would I be jumping? Is there a reason? Is something coming? Is there a rope coming that I got to jump? We question. They just loyally jump. If they jump and get their head cut off, it's like, well, I did what you asked me. They don't ask questions. They just do. And a lot of our people, Democrats, are sitting there saying, we should do the same. No, not that. We should not be doing the same in that. But we should be doing the same thing like the Democrats are doing now in, I believe, Texas, going to Illinois, and I think another state too, where they're out there working and staying away from Texas so they can't do this gerrymandering shit. They're going to end up doing it eventually. But I like the fact that Democrats all throughout the United States and Democrat-led states like California are saying, hey, you do it, Texas, we're going to do it too. But you may get 5 votes. We might get 5 seats. We'll get 9. Keep it up. Now, I like that. Gavin Newsom, I'm telling you, he's doing great things. I mean, his moves, it's like when they move like this, I move like that. It's like they just totally matching them blow for blow. And I'm loving that. If they do something, he does it right back. All right, let's continue this.
If you had to pick a Republican who might be able to earn your vote, is there anyone you like that you would look at?
I mean, I was in South Carolina. I grew up in South Carolina under, somebody like Nikki Haley, right? So I can see something like that. I do think, and
this fool said Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley. She forced him into this. I ain't gonna hold Charlamagne the God on this too much because she forced him into this. But he could have said no. I don't see nobody. But he said Nikki Haley. I was like, the Nikki Haley that said there was no such thing as racism. Even though she went through racism, we found out later that she got called all kind of names when she was younger and dealt with racism. And then on top of that, she tried to whitewash who she was by changing her name. She used her middle name or something like that that's more American than her first name, right? That's what she said her name is, Nikki. But we do know that Vivek Ramaswamy, he called her out on trying to tell her that she don't even want to act like she's Indian. He did that at a press at one of these little things they had. And she was just like, whatever, little man. It was funny as hell to see them go at it. But the reality is that she was in a racist town acting like she wasn't that she wasn't racist, that there was no such thing as racism. When they were trying to get rid of these racist monuments, she was against it before she found out that she had to do something because the constituents was pissed off about it, meaning the black ones who had some kind of power in that state. She finally acquiesced and got it out of there. I forgot what the thing was. It was I forgot what it was. It may have been the Confederate flag or something like that. It was something to that effect. It was very racist. She finally got rid of it. And then she went and took credit for it. Like, oh yeah, I did this in this town when she was, I'm like, if you don't know the history of how she got that thing down, you would realize she made it seem like, look what I did. No, that's not what you did. That's what you was forced to do, Nikki. And this dude, Charlamagne, gonna bring up her name. Like, this woman's a valid person to run for office. This lying person who sat there and made up like shit that she did. Oh, and by the way, this is the same woman that went over to Israel and signed a bomb that went and killed children. No, thank you. Keep her. You can keep her. She didn't have to go over there and sign no bomb that was going to be sent to blow up Palestinians. Why would you do that? Who would do that? What mindset would do that? And you would think that's a good president? Bad decision after bad decision? And can't even tell the truth that racism exists in the country? I was mad at Kamala for that. Like, again, anybody can get it. Republican. When she said that, I was like, girl, you better take that shit back. Racism is strong in this country. Why do you think Donald Trump's president? You think he's the president because he has morals? That he was the best man for the job? Or was it a bunch of racist ass people saying they aren't racist? It's kind of strange how this man got into office and then all of a sudden everything that's black or everything that's of color became a bad thing. We don't want to deal with woke. Oh, you turn woke into the N word. Everything that had to deal with black is what they used to say they don't want. Critical race theory. CRT. We don't want CRT in our school. Nobody was teaching it in your schools. CRT was in colleges, law schools. You couldn't even tell them. You'd be like, look, don't listen to me. Go look it up. Where's CRT being taught in your schools? It's just being taught in our schools. Like, what is CRT then? Because it's not what we're talking about. You're talking about something different. What's CRT? Are you talking about black history? Is CRT? Oh, okay. Wow. So then they try to get rid of black history. So tell me, if you're not a racist group of people, why are you trying to delete all the people of color shit and keep white people shit? I'll wait. Why are you trying to get rid of Latin, black, gay, trans, bi, anything that had to do with any other culture, Muslim, all that? You want Christian shit in the school, and that's it. Never mind the fact that this country is filled with all different religions, non-religions, and faiths. And they got to walk by something they don't believe in while somebody else walk by and is like so proud of. There's a difference. There's a reason why we did these things. If you want to, everybody's tripping. This is one of the phrases that the Republicans, again, they always have these slogans that people follow, and it gets into their head and they automatically think of it. Think about when people talk about, well, if we had church and school again, we have such better people and all this stuff like that. I said, why don't you have church at home? Because that's where they're going to really learn. Why don't you have church at home so that your kids are groomed well before they bring their asses into school? You can tell the parents who don't know how to parent by how their children act at school. And you think your teacher saying a quick prayer is going to turn your little shit into a great human being? No, that's your job at home. Their job is to teach your little shit. It's your job to turn your little shit into a good man and woman. And if your little child at home being a shit, guess what? You're a piece of shit mom and dad. Because there's no reason your kid should be at school doing crazy shit. And they don't need to hear church in school. They need to hear it at home where they're supposed to be at. That's the way I look at it. But they're always trying to put something on you. You know why they want the church and school? So they can indoctrinate your children to believe in the bullshit they believe in. Whatever particular cult of the year they may be in. The cult of MAGA. The cult of whatever, Catholicism. Whatever it may be. I look at it this way. If your God, or whatever you believe in, power, decides your child or you are worthy of it, it will reach your heart. You don't need to force it on somebody. Ask yourself a quick question. How many times any of you guys was forced to do something and you stuck with it? When you got a chance to get out from under somebody forcing you to do it, how many of you stuck with it? And how many of you questioned it and said, now that I'm not under the thumb of somebody else telling me that red is good and green is good and this food is good and this religion is good, when you get out on your own, you start to find you and not whom somebody told you to be. So the forcing of something doesn't really work often. It gets people confused as they get older. Like, why have I been in this all these years? Because you were trained to be in it. Just like a dog, when you teach it to roll over, it continues to roll over. It don't know why it's doing it. Just when it hears that word, roll over is a thing. When you train a child or somebody to do something, they just do it because they're used to it. I look at it with my kids, I'm like, you got to be attached to what you believe in. You can't just believe in it because I told you to. That's the only way you're going to habitually do it and be happy doing it. So find you and find your joy. I can't instill joy into you. That's something you got to find. Nurture. I can put you in a direction, but I can never get you to the destination. That's on you. All right. Let's continue this real quick.
I think that traditional conservatives are going to take the Republican Party back. I think there's a political coup going on right now in the Republican Party that people aren't paying attention to.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think that this Epstein thing is going to be a way for traditional conservatives to take their party back. I really do. I think that they know this is the issue that has gotten the base riled up. The MAGA base isn't letting this issue go. And for the first time, they know they can, probably take their party back and not piss off the MAGA base. I think they're going to do that.
Well, I would say, we've never seen a typical election since the day that Donald Trump came down the golden escalator. So
Absolutely.
I don't know that
We can agree on that shit.
I don't know that we'll ever see another typical kind of traditional election with traditional Republicans. I don't know. I feel like things have changed, the game changed, and to say that the old guard is going to kind of come back, that's a lot. That's a big statement.
But that's the mistake Republicans are going to make. Republicans are going to make the same mistake that Democrats made, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. Barack Obama was a one-of-one, once-in-a-lifetime, political juggernaut. Mm-hmm. And since Barack Obama, every Democrat has tried to be Barack Obama. You're not Barack Obama.
You got to be yourself.
It's going to be the same thing with Republicans. Say what you want. Donald Trump is a once-in-a-lifetime, one-on-one political juggernaut. You're not going to be Donald Trump. So if you think you're going to be able to do what Donald Trump has done, talk the way Donald Trump has talked, get away with what Donald Trump has got away with, it's not going to happen. So everybody right now, we have the opportunity to have like a huge reset. I think you should blow it all up. I think that people are really sick and tired of what we've been presented from both parties. By the way, we knew this before the last election. They were telling us that like 70% of people did not want to see a rematch between Trump or Biden. So it's like we know we want something different. Everybody wants something different. So I think that if Democrats keep doing the same old thing, they're going to keep getting the same results. And if Republicans, think that they can repeat what has been done and don't try to give the people something new, they're going to get the results they don't want.
You on your show have a lot of young viewers. You're very influential, I think, with a lot of people. What would be your message to this next generation of voters? Because they're going to play a very pivotal role coming up in these midterms and coming up in 2028. What's your message?
Let's stop listening to the catchy slogans. Let's stop putting on jerseys for different parties, and let's just focus on the people who are putting the ideas out there that truly are going to put more money in your pocket and truly are going to make you feel safe in this country. Like, who is the forward-thinking people that are talking about, making this country more affordable, who are talking about really making you as an individual smarter, telling you what sectors to get into the world to make, this country better. Listen to people's ideas. Like, we focus too much on individuals. We focus too much on identity. We focus too much on party. What are people's ideas? Because that is what is going to always win.
I see that right there. I agree with. I agree with the fact that, and I've been talking about this for a while, we do need people with ideas. She would go on to ask him, in this same vein, she would go to ask him, if you want the ideas, like who did he see, if he didn't say it, is running for president? And he had a few people. He's talking about Josh Shapiro and stuff of that nature. In Philadelphia, and I forgot. Wes Moore, he mentioned. I see that he's talking about you can see their records and match them up, and they've done some things, and I can see that too. I can see either one of those two. And then he said, if I really wanted to be frank, he wanted to say like there was other people that he would put in the ranks, and he just mentioned. He said Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart, he was talking about, he's got some stuff passed in the government and things of that nature, but he would really want to see him run. And I don't know about y'all. I am done with celebrities. And I'm not saying Jon Stewart wants to do this. I mean, in fact, I think I heard him say a while back ago he didn't want to do something like this. And I applaud him for not wanting to do it because, again, I understand that people are in love with their celebrities, but I don't know about. I'm sick of celebrities. Reagan sucked. I don't care what anybody says. Sucked and was a racist. You got Donald Trump. Sucked, racist, horrific. Right? So why are we digging in these pools of celebrities? I mean, I can understand if a celebrity was a governor. Or, and even that with Reagan, but I can see that to some degree. But for the most part, if you have never run anything or governed anything or been in politics, I don't want to get somebody who's learning how to do the job. It bothers me. I don't understand how this country, the greatest country we call it in the world, I can't vouch for that 100% because I haven't been in every country. But the greatest country we market it as in the world, how is it that we got leaders that don't know what the fuck they're doing? We got people in the White House right now that don't deserve to be there because they have no idea what they're doing. Pete Hegseth is a complete bona fide idiot, right? And he's the head of our military, right? Pam Bondi. I mean, that ferret is a ridiculous person. I mean, going after people just to get off Donald Trump's shoulder, this Epstein thing. So they're going after people. And I'm like, what are you doing? The things that you're doing, going after Obama, they're going after James Comey. Earlier in the year, they was going after Letitia James. Now today, one of the new ones is Jack Smith. I mean, he's going after all of his people who he considers enemies. How do you consider yourself a legitimate presidency and you have yet to speak on what you're going to do for the people? You have been on a vengeance tour. That's it. American people, be damned. So petty that this man is going after people who were doing their job because he's a freaking criminal, rapist person. And that people was trying to get him for being a criminal and a rapist. And he lost a lawsuit because he's a criminal and a fucking rapist. 34 felonies. I'm like, why are you going after people who caught you? And why would Republicans who haven't been convicted of any crime follow somebody down a path of criminality? I mean, I thought you were a party of family values until rape became a family value, I guess. Grabbing women by the vagina is a family value now for Republicans. You can't say you're against something when you give a person full power of this country that is all of the things that you said you never wanted to see in your party, but it is your party. Hypocritical. That's why it's hard to even take them seriously when they open up their mouths. You just know which lie is going to come out. If you're talking about a topic, you know which lie is going to come out because they fall in line. I saw an interview with Mick Mulvaney and Mehdi Hasan. Mehdi Hasan, man, is becoming one of my most favorite Americans. I ain't gonna lie. Him being able to debate the way he debates is ridiculous, or interview the way he interviews. It's just, Mick Mulvaney knows Donald Trump is a racist. This man tried to come out and say race is just a state of mind, and that's it. I was like, what? And he tried to say Donald Trump's not racist. I'm like, dude. He said, who would know more about him being racist? Would it be somebody who, he tried to bring up a supposed black guy that stopped him in a hallway. He said, hey, Mick. I was like, yeah. Mick, yeah, hold on for a second. This all aggressive black dude just going to run up to a white man and be aggressive. That to me was just bullshit when it came out of his mouth. And telling Mick Mulvaney to slow down and stop, let me talk to you for a second. I don't know any black person that's going to do that shit. Right? And then while he's walking and he's at some event and he was scared, Mick Mulvaney, of the black guy. You could tell. He's like, I didn't know what he wanted from me. So you were scared of the black guy that stopped you and gave Donald Trump a compliment. I used to work for him on The Apprentice, and I was a cameraman for so many years. Best boss I ever had. Tell him that. He said he went and told Donald Trump about it. If you believe that, I got a house under the sea just for sale, just for you. Your whole life savings. No, you don't need to be skimping. Give me everything you own so you can live under the sea. Because that's the dumbest shit I ever heard. But yet, he said that shit live, or at least on tape, and said that's what he got. And because that black guy said he was his best boss he ever had, Donald Trump can't be racist because of that. Mehdi Hassan cut that shit quick and said, hey, just because you got a black friend don't mean you can't be racist. The room claps and he's, I know that. No, you don't. Because you just brought up this little whack-ass explanation as to why he's not, because some black guys that used to work for him liked him. That made him not racist to Mick Mulvaney. Whew. This is why, no disrespect, but I'm going to tell you something, and people will get mad at me for it, but like I said, I tell it like it is. This is why I do not allow in my world, no white person can tell me what racism is. You can tell me all day, every day what white privilege is if you feel it happening to you. But you can't tell me what racism is if you ain't never experienced it. Quit trying to act like you know something. Why don't you just shut up and listen? Point blank period. You don't know what racism is. We know it so much. A black person can tell a person is racist by the inflection of your voice when you speak to them. It doesn't have to be an N-word. It doesn't have to be anything. We can tell if you're racist by the way you walk next to us or around us. You don't have to say a word. We got this shit down packed. That's why I would never listen to somebody white tell me what fucking racism is. Ever. Because you ain't never experienced it. I've been experiencing racism since I was a toddler. And you're going to get people who've never experienced it. See, this is where I talk about meritocracy. You don't have experience in something, you can never be an expert in it. I understand you may have experience in prejudice and bigotry, sexism, all that. I can understand that. But you ain't never had an experience of racism. You ain't never been told you couldn't get a job knowing it's because you were black or you were white. That ain't never happened to you. So if you've never been in something, quit acting like you know what it is. I keep hearing these young people and other people talk about, I received racism. No, you received bigotry or prejudice, but you did not receive racism. Quit trying to be in a club because trust me, we don't want to be in this fucking club. We've been fighting and dying for fucking centuries to get out of this fucking club. The reason why many people have rights in this damn country and immigrants can be in this country because we've been fighting to get away from this shit. And for people to tell black people that they have received racism when you ain't never walked a day in the life of a black person, please shut the fuck up. It ain't easy being black. We have the same problems financially as everybody else. But in that same vein, we get called names and shit painted on our homes. We get hung. When's the last time you heard of a white person being hung anywhere in the United States? We've had black people hung in the past year. Is there a sundown town for white people that as soon as it gets dark, black people just come out and start hanging white people? No. So please don't try to join a club you don't want no fucking parts of. We don't want any parts of it. All right. So, has it been showing everybody's name? Cool. That's the part that interview that bothered me was her, well, one of the main parts that bothered me was her acting like she wants better for America when her family are the problem with America. Talking about don't want to have the old Republicans back. I'd rather have better Republicans than the MAGA because MAGA was a wrong term for Republicans. They could have got better, but no, they chose to get worse. People mark the idea that, oh, wow, black people are in it, MAGA, so it's not racist. Did you see Django? Steven was cool. with a bunch of the white folks. As long as he was licking their boots, he could go around beating on other black people and get away with it. He could do what Massa was doing and get away with it. So please stop trying. These people out here, I ain't saying you guys are doing it, but these people out here keep on trying to make likenesses that don't match. None whatsoever. They don't match. We all want to have a better life. And it's not going to go toward being better until we admit the faults that we've had in this country and decide we're going to move toward a better country. Not blaming each other, just admitting the issues, making amends, and moving forward. That's all it takes. Admit it, make amends, move forward. But it appears like black people have been fighting for this kumbaya moment, equality. And the racist people have been fighting for supremacy. And right now, supremacy is winning. Even though they're not supreme, they just call themselves that because they're inferior. They have to call themselves supreme. I've never heard someone who was great call themselves the GOAT. Now, I've seen rappers, they call themselves everything. They give themselves credit for no damn reason at all. But I'm saying people who actually work their butt off and become great at something. You don't see Michael Jordan calling himself the GOAT. You didn't see LeBron James call himself the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. You didn't see Kobe Bryant calling himself the greatest of all time. In fact, when they asked Kobe Bryant who was the greatest of all time, he said, I don't necessarily know about the greatest of all time, but it wouldn't be no me if it wasn't Michael Jordan. Humble. But we all know that man was great. Rest in peace. Whether he was on a team, on the Lakers, and we didn't like the Lakers or whatever it may be, and was rooting against them, we realized it's a sport. It was a team. But the individual off court we loved. And here we are in a situation where we're divided because rich people want us to stay divided. And the longer we stay divided, the longer or the further we get from where we want to be. It really is quite simple. Stop listening to the BS. Research the stuff that's coming through your ears and eyes and all that shit. And don't let somebody else tell you what a fact is. I'm a person who gives facts, but I always say check my facts. All humans can get it wrong. But the reality is that we want to have the same foundation. That's the fact thing. We want to all be there. We can have a difference of opinion on the fact. Meaning I could like it and you could dislike it, but it's a fact. But we can't have our own set of facts. This alternative fact world, all this other shit, it can't have it. If you just can't cope and you got to create your own imaginary world because you can't deal with reality, those types of people should never be leading anything, not even a McDonald's, let alone a country. Donald Trump got numbers that he didn't like and fired the people. What's going to happen now? You got to understand, first of all, firing her was nonsensical because why? Because there are 40 people who make this up. She's just a person who tells them what, like, you got to do this, you got to do that. She's the boss. But these 40 people get all the work together, been doing it for fucking decades. Some 30, 40 years, whatever, longer than her. They get the information culminated. She goes out and speaks on it. She doesn't sit there and do the math herself. So she comes out and tell you what we find. A legitimate situation, and you don't like it. 258,000 less jobs. Must be a lie. And boom, off to the races. But notice something, ladies and gentlemen. We became a powerhouse. A mega power, so to speak. Or a superpower, what you want to call it. after World War II, after that, because we helped them win that war, right? Here's the problem. We can always go back to where we were before when we weren't. Don't think that it can always, just because you got nukes, that ain't gonna always keep it. Other countries are getting tired of our BS. And hell, most of us, to be honest, are tired of this country's BS. And when you got American citizens, a lot of us, a majority of us, that can't stand this government the way it's running and harming people, hurting people, and some people are dying, stopping U.S. aid, where up to 14 million people are estimated to be dead because of that in the next like 14 or 20 years. I'm like, what is it now? 2025 in the next, like I said, 2030. So within the next 5 to 10 years, 14 million people are going to be dead because we're not giving that money anymore. Getting rid of, Sesame Street for our kids. Where are they going to get their information from? As a kid, where's that coming from? The puppets and everything that kids grew up on. And again, it might not close down. We're just not funding it. That means American people are going to have to fund it somehow, or millionaires and billionaires. But from what I hear, there only is 15, something like that, % of their money comes from the government. But still, I don't know what's going to happen to it. Whether they're going to think it's still feasible or not. I don't know. Still working on trying to find out more details about that. But the fabric of this country, the way we grew up, is falling apart. Education being like #1 goal. How many of us just toiled over the idea we need to go to college to get a career? Without college, we're just going to get a job. And so college, career, more money, house, car, maybe 2 cars, and a fence, picket fence, and all that shit. All the American dream, it's being shattered. Because education is not something that they're giving a damn about. They're trying to get rid of things that gives us opportunities. I'm not talking about just black people. When I say us, I'm talking about Americans. It's giving Americans opportunities, and they're shutting it down. But here's the point. What I want to make with this is that they may be doing that right now. And if they say, God is good all the time, God is good, and ends up taking this fool, well, God ain't going to take him. Satan's going to take him because he is a demon. When Satan decides to take his soul up off the planet, do you really think we're going to be able to get this shit back like overnight? Nah. What Donald Trump is fucking up is probably going to take us a decade to fix. Never mind the shit that we don't know they changed behind the scenes. We don't know what Project 2025 has behind it. If you understood this whole thing, the 900 pages was basically like the guide of what they're planning on doing. There was booklets beyond the 900 pages that nobody else was going to see on how to implement these things in each department. They spent millions, if not billions, on this. These people are following orders. Donald Trump don't know what's going on. If you ever notice, pay attention to Donald Trump. If you ever notice, Donald Trump will say, whenever they ask him a question, did you know this? And he goes, I didn't know that. Where's that happening? It's his White House. You know why he don't know what he's doing? First of all, he's stupid. But the reason why he doesn't know is because the man in which he put in power, the organization that he gave them the opportunity to write the laws and bills that they want to do, and all of these, executive orders, Russ Vought, he's running the White House. He is the de facto president. That's the man that's making all the rules. Donald Trump don't know what the fuck is going on. He can't even tie his own shoes at the moment. And you think this man knows what's going on a day-to-day basis? Mm-mm. He is just like the pageants he used to own. Somebody that walks out and does this, has a little skill by talking shit and everything like that. Kind of a crazy orator for the nut jobs. They get to see him and, oh, wow, look at him. He goes back into his little cave and Russ Vought runs everything. And when you ask him about shit, go look at the video. Maybe you can look it up on YouTube and saying Donald Trump don't know nothing. Every time, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know about this. I don't know about that. How do you don't know about it? Who's running it? Exactly. He's running a popularity contest. And when you think about it, I think Donald Trump was mad at those young girls because I think he really wanted to be in the pageants. If you really pay attention to Donald Trump, all he really is a person who's running for popularity contest. He's in his own little pageant. Somebody should just give him a ribbon and send his ass home. Because that's all he really wants is the accolades from it. To walk around and prance around and act like he's somebody. He is the biggest nobody president you ever seen. Nobody cares about that, man. Even the people around him don't care about him. They just want power to be close to it. And they know if they had a sane Republican president, the people next to him would not have a fucking job. They wouldn't even get close to the White House. They wouldn't even pass any of the actual, checks and balances to be even to walk into the White House. Them being able to be in the positions they are in, being the unsavory dipshits that they are, is because they have a criminal in chief. If they had a sane Republican, none of them would ever have made it. And they know it. That's why they do what he asks, because he's the only reason they have what they have. The power that they have is due to him. That's why they're loyal to him. He put in people who don't deserve the position and couldn't have got it on their own. And they call it merit. Yeah. Let's get to this. Eric, one in, what did you say? College was a scam for banks to burden everyone with debt. Doctors work as free labor for years to pay off their students. Rich versus poor is and always has been the problem. True. I mean, I get that. I get that 100%. I went to college and, one thing I think about college, it depends on what you went for. If you went to just party, I get it. But if you went to get knowledge, that's the place to go. If you went to get a job or whatever, maybe not. Because again, a lot of these college, I went back and spoke at my college many years ago. And the biggest problem with the college was they didn't prepare you for life out of school. They just gave you a bunch of like tidbits about said positions. If you wanted to go in to be an architect, they make you make a bunch of models or something like that, and that'll be it. But did you ever watch it be built? No. Did you ever work for a team? Most likely not. Like a real team that was doing it, you just went out. You may have gotten an opportunity to have like some kind of, internship, maybe. But for the most part, you didn't have a resume when you left. And that's the problem with colleges, is that if you're really going to have a college that's effective, whatever you're going to college for, you should have a resume by the time you're done. That college should be doing professionally the things that they're teaching, so that when you're done, you already have a resume and not just a degree. That would be a lot better if you were going to college for that. But I agree with you. It's just mostly you go in there and then you're paying all this money, you get into debt, you come out, and you really don't have any education. Nobody wants to hire you. Maybe as an apprentice. After spending $100,000, $200,000, whatever college costs, you come out being an apprentice, that means you're broke for the next 20 years. Because you ain't going to be able to pay that off. Not $200,000, $300,000 coming in as an apprentice. It's going to take you a good 4 or 5 years as an apprentice to move up from an apprentice to, whatever position it may be that's going to give you somewhat kind of good money. And then at 10 years into it, when you probably should have your loans paid off, that's when you're making good money. By the 8th year, you're making good money enough to start paying down your debts. By then, you want a house, you want a car, you want a woman, you want this, or man, you want children. Oh, now you got to tack onto it. So you're forever and perpetually in debt. So yeah, a lot of what our schools do not teach us is how to survive outside the school system. You're not prepared to survive, or thrive rather. You're not even really prepared to survive. You're prepared to just go out with a degree and hope somebody hires you. That sucks. And if you're at a really good college or prestigious college for what you believe in, let's say like what your study is in, then you have a better chance of getting a job because they're well connected to that law firm, or they're well connected to that production team, or whatever it is that you're into. Now you have references based upon, oh, your counselor is Mr. Johnson. Oh, he was my counselor. And this person's an Emmy Award winner. Well, you got a connection. That's another thing that colleges are good for, connections. If you don't have them yourself, like in your family, then that's a good place to go. People go to college, I think, sometimes for the wrong reasons, or at least they're not prepared for the right reason, what it's supposed to be for. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be about connections. Whatever you're getting into, whenever, this is one thing that most people didn't realize when I was going to college. And I tell people if they have kids now, whenever professionals in your area of expertise that you want to get into, if you want to be a doctor, you want to be a musician, you want to be, whatever, actor, whatever, when these actors or doctors, physicians, or, technicians, audio people, whatever it may be, film people, when they come to your town, I don't care if you broke, get your ass into that place somehow, some way. I don't care how it is, because it's all about connections. Get over your fear of talking to somebody and walk up to them with confidence and say, hey, my name's this, I'm a junior and I love what you do. Find out who it is. Do your homework on said person. I don't care. It may seem stalkerish, but if you really want it coming out of college, you need to know who that person is, what movies they did, any interviews they had, talking about making that movie or TV show, whatever. And when you see them, have something to say to them. Oh, I love how you did that one movie, and that edit you had, fantastic. I want to learn how to do that one day. Can I come and intern with you? Boom. You already got a face-to-face. You asked them for it. After that, can I get your information? Got the card. Boom. If you got whatever he gives you, get on Instagram, hit him up in about 2 weeks, keep connection. Oh, I'm doing great. I got an A in this, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you're the kid from whatever college. Yeah, I remember you. Now you got connections. Something you wouldn't have got if you just stayed your ass at home. That's what the money's worth. That's what helps you get there. Most people think it's just going to party, have a good time, and get away from parents. That might be if you already got it going on, whereas your parents are wealthy and you ain't got to worry about money. But if you're not, those are the things you need to be searching. If you're going to do anything else, make sure that when you're in school and your kids in school, tell them to go to not every other, every time a professional in their field of choice comes in, go see them. Let them see your face. I don't care what you do. Cut your hair half off. Look crazy so that you can make an impression on that fool. Be like, yeah, you the one who had his hair on. Yeah, that's me. They know who you are. You ain't got to do all the crazy stuff, but at least stand out, wear your pink shirt, whatever it may be, so that you stand out to that person and ask professional, not crazy questions. You may look crazy, but you sound very good. That gives them a chance to ocularly can say, oh my shit, I remember you. You had that pink shirt on it with birds and parakeets and some shit. What was that all about? So you can remember. They know you clever. They'll give you opportunities. And when you're young, people are more than happy to help you out because they think of you as their legacy. So young people, understand that if you're in this room at all, understand these types of things that can give you opportunities to move forward in whatever field you're in. And no matter what college you go to, junior college, community college, full-on college or elite colleges, it's not about always what the teacher's teaching you. You got to learn that. Don't get no F's or nothing. But the connections is everything because that's how you get your jobs and opportunities. All right, Eric, one. Yeah, that's how you learn. You're very welcome. That's how I learned. I used to go back to my school and teach people because I was in the entertainment industry. And the thing they did not teach me was to have a reel. I did everything. I executive produced shows. I did the cable shows. I was a writer. I did direct TDing, lighting, everything. I could do all of that. But none of that was recorded. And none of that was on any disc. It was on my resume from school and all the different classes I took. But my professors never told me to record all of these things and put them on a reel. So when I came out to LA and started working for, a major TV show, they were like, yo, you said, because I was a intern. And when I was an intern, I was like, hey, I was working on Paramount lot. I'm like, man, I was talking to this editor. I was like, man, I can edit. I said, yeah, you got the same machine I got, the Betamax, man. Yeah. He said, you can edit. I said, yeah. So where's your reel? I was like, what you mean? He was like, what you talking about, Willis? Like, we talk about Willis. We talk about the reel. So this brother, I remember his name was Greg or Gary or something like that. That was the editor for Arsenio Hall show. And he said, yeah, man. And he had the beta that he was editing on, but people were sending like, this was back in the day. People were sending that shit like on 3/4 inch. So I'm sitting here like putting this big ass thing into the machine. I'm watching them shoot their stuff, looking like VHS quality. But yeah, people had their reels and everything like that. I didn't have nothing like that. And since I was out of college, I didn't have that equipment. We didn't have like Avid on a computer or nothing like this. Ours was just A/B roll. So if you know what I'm talking about. So we had machines that we had to put in and edit out. I edited so much in college, but I never made my own reel. So when I went back to tell them, I was like, yo, I don't care what these teachers are telling you, the professors are telling you, make a reel. More than one. If you want to edit, make an edit reel. If you want to act, make an acting reel. If you want to do this, make another reel. Don't come to LA. I was in Indiana. I said, don't come to LA without a reel or you ain't getting nothing real. You may get a waitress job, but you ain't getting nothing else. Nobody giving you a job to edit if they can't see that you can do it. And they ain't going to sit there and say, hey, come in here and edit this for me. They ain't going to let you mess with their raw material to edit. You got to have something. So I told them that, and a lot of people came out here. I helped them get gigs and stuff like that. But yeah, that's how it works. DJ Reed, 5 Alarm Fire's last message. Let me get there. Drew, would you like to speak? Drew would like to speak to you briefly. Unable to add you on our Discord. Oh yeah, definitely. I'll would you briefly? Unable to add you on a. Okay. How would you want to speak to? You got me. Did you get my information the last time? Hit me up on my email then, and I'll talk to you. Thank you, DJ. Most definitely, we can talk. I gotta run here in a minute, but let me know when can you talk. We can talk. If you want to talk right now, just hit me up in the email with your number, and I'll call you. You can hit up DJ. She can text me, whichever way it goes. Connections, intelligence, and a great personality. Exactly, Alice. Connections is like number one. You could be smart as I don't know what, and you ain't got no connections. You really ain't going too far too quick. I mean, you may go far, but it may take you longer. All right, let me just put my damn, how'd that work? Misspelling stuff. All right, that's my email. If you can see it, is that right? Yeah. 515. Hit me up in the email with a number. I'll call you up after the show. And I don't know what's going on with the Discord. Is this another person's Discord? Because I'm on the other one. The AEGIS. But yeah. But you're right. I want to thank everybody who came today. Said, it depends on how far the Republican Party who is in charge will follow DJT. I also agree with Charlamagne and God that, if Republicans, Donald Trump is a once in a lifetime type of president. You know what I'm saying? We've never had a president that I know of that wanted to take us into a dictatorship. I haven't seen it. We haven't had a president that was allowed to do a coup on America and still be put back into office. I haven't seen that. That I haven't seen it in history. I haven't read it anywhere. Once in a lifetime. I hope we never have another one. But I kind of agree with the fact that nobody's going to want to follow. Because, like, when you have a leader like that, thank you, Dennis. When you have a leader like that, who are you going to follow? Everybody else are simps, right? I mean, when you think about leaders, let's think about like other cults that we've seen. When the leader is gone, all the rest of them pretty much unalive themselves. they can't live without him, right? When you think about most cults, if the leader is taken out, they go out. It's like you cut the head off a snake, everything else dies. So when Donald Trump meets his maker, they don't have a direction. They don't have a spine. They'll eat each other because each one of them is going to try and fight to be the next Trump. And none of their people are going to allow anybody to be the next Trump. So they hitch their wagon to a dying party. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. You never know what's going to happen. But I kind of agree with Charlamagne on that, is that they're going to, they have no direction. They're going to have to figure something out because they want to go to a dictatorship type of thing where Donald Trump is the leader and everybody, inside. That would mean that Donald Trump's family will end up being the next president. Can you imagine that dipshit Central family? Come on. His son, little whatever he takes to get his eyes all glassy and shit. And I don't know if that's still his girl or not. The other chick that looked like a fucking scarecrow, his girlfriend. It's like, Then his daughter, nope, too crooked. But again, you never know with this situation. They're going to try. So we have a woman, we can have her, whatever. And definitely not his other son, the youngest dipshit son. And then you got his ex call girl wife. So I don't think any of that. Sorry, I had to turn it off. I don't think any of that's going to work, but we'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know how we do. I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody much respect for being here today. Chuck Johnson, I appreciate you. Can't be trained. You reckon not be trained? Yeah, Chuck Johnson. College isn't for everybody. I understand that. Definitely. There are people out there. And again, there's good lives to be had without college education. There's a lot of smart people that just can't just sit down in a room and do it. They like to do it by hand. Some of them go to the military. Some of them get into tech and learn how to do stuff on their own and take courses and can be brilliant at it. So college isn't everything, but it is how you reach connections. It's hard. And again, here's another situation before I go. For young people, or maybe for older too, I guess, but for young people, if you do not have a college education and you do not want to go to college for what you are good at, and you say you are good at programming, right? There are other ways to get those connections. You can go to seminars. You can go to, and make sure you check the people. None of these seminars that try to say you can make you rich quick, none of that shit, none of that. What you need to do is find people whom you know are experts in a position, that have a business, that may be wealthy, that may own technology that you like to work on, whether it be wireless, Wi-Fi stuff, whether it be coding for an app, TikTok or Snapchat or whatever it may be. If you're good at doing that, or Discord for that matter, if you're good at being able to do that or program or anything of that nature, and you don't always have to be able to code, just have great ideas for these particular companies. What you can do is, again, save up your money after you do your research and find out what people are important or on the cutting edge or on the cusp of that technology or what you're doing. They are always on tour somewhere. They're either at some convention, they're at some intimate party. Find out who they are. And again, it may seem stalkerish, but find out what they do, what they like. I don't care if you go deeper to say like, oh, he loves apple pie. Well, shit, didn't know that. It was in the news. I know. So the next time you say, you want to grab a piece of pie? I got there's some apple pie right across the street. That's really good. You got a connection with that person in some way, shape, or form, right? Not creepy, but very informative. And usually when you're young, it works better. Seems a little bit creepier when you're younger, when you're older. But when you're younger, they look at you like, okay, I'm trying to help the next mind that's coming up, the young people. So being able to smooth with those people, again, don't ever allow their prowess or their power or what of that. Don't think of that. Think of them as a human being. When you think of the prowess type of thing, you mess up. You worried about getting something. Think about how you can offer them something. When I tell people, when you do things like this, where you go to a function and you say, don't think about what they can do for you. Don't go looking for a job. Go looking for providing a solution for them. So offering them something, even if it's for free. So like for instance, let's say if I walked into a function, it's like a bunch of billionaires, millionaires, and you know I'm a nobody. I'm coming out of college, I'm a young kid. I walk in there and I done studied everything about the guy who everybody's celebrating that day. I done studied everything about what he or she is doing. Let's say it's a he, all that he's doing, and I know what he likes, what he doesn't like. You know, check and see if they have stories about people walking up to him. You can tell what kind of character they have. They don't like people walking up to him. Then you know that not to just walk up to him, make it a happenstance, bump into him, whatever. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you get my point. So don't go up there. Oh, don't be the fan geeked out dude. That's automatically, you know something about them. You know what technology they're doing and what they're about to release or something of that nature. Go in with a conversation to be had. So sit around. Don't be aggressive. Sit in a circle. They're usually talking close to each other, especially at a conference. They may have a booth or something like that. And just sit there. Chill out. Listen to what they're saying. And when you find out them on a topic that you know something about and you may have some expertise in it by using yourself, oh, you're talking about the whatever, the chip. That chip's supposed to come out next year. Isn't it supposed to be a certain type of speed and this, that, and the third? Like, yeah, how do you know about that, young fella? Boom. Intro to the conversation. Automatic. He already don't open up the door. Keep talking to him. Then give him your information. Say, I'm a junior at whatever college, whatever it may be, or junior college. And I would love to keep in touch with you. You know, I just, you know, I love what I do. And I want to one day be like you. Boom. Bounce. Get the information. Bounce. Don't hover. Then you got yourself a way in. You don't have to have a college education. You really have to be smart about how to connect with people. After all, life is all about your connections and the intellect that you may bring to the conversation, but connections. Never be smarter than the person that you're talking to. Don't go on and be like, nah, I don't believe that's right because a new technology came out. Don't say that. Again, it's not about it's trying to get in the door, not shut it. So get in the door. Don't disrespect. Don't be a simp, but don't disrespect. And you can be able to get into rooms that you never thought you could get into. But those are the types of strategies to be able to smooth with people and not seem creepy and get in that door, right? But do your homework first. Be prepared at all times. If you're going to go to a convention about computer chips, your ass better know about every computer chip that you are interested in and go into depth about it so that you are well rehearsed when you walk up to that person. Oh, the N.O.M.A.D 75. Oh, I love that. That one right there is going to be good for whatever. They're going to be like, how do you know? Because of the speed. You in the door. They'll listen to you, even though you may be a young cat or whatever, and they'll be like, he sound like he know what he's talking about. He an idiot, though. But I like him. I'm telling you, it gets you indoors that you never would have got into. And nobody was taught these things. Not unless you had a wealthy family or a family that had a career. Most people were not taught these things. And so therefore they don't get an opportunity to get outside of the bubble in which they live in. So always seek other people. And don't be afraid to give free work to people to get in the door to a place that can open up and give you tremendous opportunities. So that's a little bit of what I got. You're very welcome, Eric. You're very, very welcome. Take care, everybody. I'm about to get up out of here. I want to say everybody's name. Remember, delete it. Oh, you deleted something? Trump members for 7 months. Oh, thank you. Who was that? It's okay. I didn't see it. What's going on? Benny Loco, thank you for being here. DJ again, thank you for being here. 5 on Fire. You have my phone number in your email. Okay, cool. I'll call you after this. Good night, everyone. DJ, I don't know if you just left. Vicky, take care. Chuck, Gavin Newsom's ex-wife. Somebody talking to somebody else. Chuck Johnson, Dennis Petro, appreciate you being here, being a member. Who else we got? Alice Early, I always appreciate you. We said Chuck Johnson. And I didn't see 5 on Fire. I didn't see the other person that you were speaking of in the room. Maybe I didn't see it. Jorge, what's up? Appreciate you being here. I see you, Vera. Good night. You probably already left because it's been a while. Michael McCullough, I see you. Hopefully I said that right. I went past it so fast. And I seen Eric 1M. Woke Mike is up in here. Mark D, what's up, brother? Swift Returns, I see you. I'm still going up. Thanks to all the members. Appreciate all y'all. Much love. You know how I always do it late because I think about it last minute. If you want to support the show, these are the ways you can do it. I have the PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, things of that nature if you want to support as I continue doing it. I almost got the new camera I'm trying to get. I use this to try and make my production better. And plus, on top of that, we're going to start a new show with the Avid Solutionist. And that's going to be about providing solutions, giving people opportunities. Just like I did right now, that's what I love to do, is give people tips on how to better their lives. You can either take it or leave it. It's stuff that I was always taught when I was a kid to listen to my elders. And now I'm an elder. It's crazy. Well, so it's like I was always taught to listen to my elders, and my elders taught me a lot that I didn't have to fall into certain pitfalls and certain holes in life because I recognized them because I listened to my elders. And so I always tell other people, I don't care how young or old you are, you can always learn something from somebody younger than you, older than you, doesn't matter. Just keep your eyes and ears open. And when you hear gems, take them, incorporate them in your life, and allow yourself to reach another level. You're never too old to learn. You're never too seasoned. I usually say, you're never too seasoned to grow in this into a whole different other atmosphere in life. There are a lot of times we spend life like not having mentors. We may have been seeking them until then all of a sudden we become one before we ever receive one. And oftentimes it's because people are busy. People don't know how to get mentors. People don't know how to learn or listen. And that could be schooling, that could be growing up, and life just got too tough. People have had hard lives, tough lives, and maybe weren't taught these things. So it's all about people coming together in this community and giving your wisdom. You may not think it's worth anything, that you may have gotten this or that in your life. You want to get further. So what do I have to offer? I want to say a hell of a lot. You've made it this far in life. You got a lot to offer. You can tell people on what not to do and what to do, how you got where you are, or how a person that you met got where they are. All of us are filled with wisdom. Some of these wisdom things may not have worked for us, but because you have them, it's an arsenal to work for others, because it may have been given to you to help somebody else thrive off of. And therefore, helping that person might help you move to the next level. We often think when people give us these gems, they're meant for us. No, they're meant for us to have in our arsenal to be able to give to others when they're ready for it. And sometimes they help us more than anybody else. But most times they help us a little bit and help somebody else a lot. You just got to be willing to give that gift to somebody else, that piece of wisdom to somebody else, because you never know in life, you may help somebody else rise and they'll take you with them. You feel me? All right. Rooted in Planet Janet, I see you. I think I said everybody's name. Benny Loco, appreciate you. Hey guys, I got to get up out of here. I got to pick up my girlfriend. It's like 7:30 right now. She's going to kill me. I might not be back. No, I'll be back tomorrow about 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, doing what we always do. And as always, much love to y'all. And I'll see you when I see you.